Oi? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the workshop of thesis and dissertation in computer science, WTDCC. Today we talk about effective online learning, an important topic for anyone who is or is not staying at university. I am Diego Molinos, and I will guide you through the section. It's a pleasure to introduce our speaker, Professor Kifayat, and is a proficient researcher, teacher, and academic leader. He has experience in different areas of computer science, including smart city, transportation, vehicular networks, and fog computing. He is currently an associate professor at SICOS, University of IoT and Emerging Science, and where he heads the computer science in the computer science department. Additionally, he is a visiting professor at Faculty of Computer Science, FACOM, at the Federal University of Uberlândia. Okay, the professor will speak for around 50 minutes, and after that, we will proceed to the question and answer sessions. At this moment, I hand over the floor to the Professor Fayat.
Thank you, Thiago, for the introduction. And hello and good afternoon to my viewers in Brazil, and good night to the students in Pakistan. Today I'm going to present a useful guide about effective online learning. The intended audience for this presentation is both undergraduate and postgraduate students, but professors and researchers are also welcome, because I know that in fact there is no teaching without learning. And as said by Patricia, that teaching without learning is just talking in front of the student. So this presentation is important for the student as well as for the professors. The agenda for this lecture is that I'm going to start with a discussion of different modes of learning, how we actually learn, or what are the different methodologies available for learning to the students. And then I will move to the online learning platform, and we will finish this presentation by providing some guidelines for learning effectively in online environments. So different modes of learning. The traditional mode of learning is face-to-face learning, and it is a traditional classroom-based teaching and learning. They take place on campus with students and instructors, professors in the same physical space, and the professors are delivering the lecture and the students are listening to the lecture in the same physical space at the same time. This traditional face-to-face lectures has been accomplished by technologies like learning management systems. We use Google Classrooms, Microsoft Teams, and Blackboard, other LMS systems for sharing the contents with the students, letting the student turning in their assignments, and also we can assess the student work online by using these LMS. So this is also an example of the latest face-to-face technologies. Then we have the remote mode of learning. Remote has more than one meaning in the world of education. For example, in Pakistan, we use the words virtual or distance learning to refer to the remote learning. And some researchers, they consider the remote as a synonym for the online education or the online platforms. Even some institutions define it simply as learning that take place outside of the physical classroom or you can say outside of the campus or the university. So it is made possible by using synchronous, like synchronous mean the live lecture. For example, this presentation is an example of synchronous way of delivering the lecture. Or maybe asynchronous, you can watch this recorded lecture later on at any time that you want or from any location that you want. That would be an example of asynchronous way of delivering the contents to the students. Synchronous way actually provides more dynamic experiences, and it actually increase the interaction between the students and the lecturer or the professors, because it requires the direct involvement of the instructor in the classroom activities, and it actually facilitates the learning environment. It provides the opportunity for the student to provide feedback and provide the opportunity to the lecturer or professor to provide responses. So it is more interactive way of delivering the lectures in online platforms. Then we have the hybrid mode of learning. In the hybrid mode, uh, the student take advantage of the same technologies and active learning strategies that are used in face-to-face learning and online learning. It combines the best factors of two modes. So hybrid mode, we also call it the blended way, and it is designed for the courses that combine both the face-to-face practices, like the student has to attend the classes inside the classroom, they have to go to the campus to attend the classes, and also it combines the online learning environment. Sometimes you have to attend the classes online, and sometimes you have to go to the campus to attend the physical classes. So hybrid learning has the potential to enhance learning productivity and result in improvement of student success and also the satisfaction of the student. We have another way of learning that is called the high flex, and it is actually the combination of two words. High is for the hybrid and flex is for the flexible. So sometimes we also call it the blend flex mode of education. It allows the student to take courses by attending on campus classes like face-to-face classes, or it allows the student to participate online doing both or viewing the videos of the class later on. So some of the universities, some good universities, they are actually offering this mode of learning, high flex. How? They have well equipped classrooms. Whenever the lecturer or the professor is delivering the lecture, some of the students are physically present so they can enjoy the face-to-face learning, and others who are not on campus, they can watch the lecture online in a synchronous way. Or if the lecture is recorded, they can watch the lecture later on. So it is actually this mode of learning has two distinct audience or two distinct students. The first one is on the campus, the student inside the classroom who are actually participating in the face-to-face, and the second one is the students who are actually attending the lecture online. And then we have the fully online mode of learning. This is our focus in this presentation. In this mode, the student access all the learning materials and they perform all the activities through the internet. They are using LMS or they are using their course websites. They are using Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, etc. to access the material. So that is the focus of this lecture. This online mode of learning, it could be asynchronous or it could be synchronous. Asynchronous mean that the online courses is the videos are available to watch later in an offline way. Traditionally, there is no real-time interaction between the teachers and the lecturer. Okay, While in case of synchronous course, the course is offered entirely online and it includes regular online meetings with the teacher or with the professor. And I remember during pandemic at our university, we utilized Google Classroom for online synchronous mode of learning, and that was a very good experience. Although it was very challenging, but the results were very fruitful. Now, as we are going to focus on online learning, both synchronous and asynchronous, we need to know what is online learning for us. The term online works like an umbrella term. As I mentioned, we have other terminologies like virtual, like digital, like distance learning. So, online can be considered as a learning that is happening at a physical distance from the professor or from the university. So, online actually refers to the learning that take place or that is delivered over the internet. So, online learning is actually a specific type of remote learning or distance learning which happens over the internet. And the trend is increasing. Actually, a number of students they are taking online classes. So the number of students that are actually taking online courses or online classes is increasing dramatically. After the COVID pandemic, we have seen that all major universities and colleges they are offering courses in online mode. So there is a need to get benefit out of this mode of education or this mode of learning. Some advantages of the online learning, you if you are attending a course online or if you are watching a video online to learn something new, you have the option of personalized learning. It gives the student a sense of freedom and control. And this freedom and this control is not possible in traditional on campus classroom setup. Because with traditional courses, student has to attend the lectures as per the given timetable or as per the given schedule. So when you study online, you get to choose when you want to watch the lectures. If the lectures are offline available, I'm talking about the asynchronous mode of learning. So you decide what you want to study and why and when you want to study in the order of your preferences. And also it provides you flexibility. You can watch a lesson at any time of the day or any time of the night. It is entirely up to you to watch the lecture. Beside from beside from the students, the professors also have the flexibility because they can record the lecture at a time that is convenient for them. And also there is a self-pacing involved in online learning. Traditional lectures, for example, that are given in the classroom, they are actually delivered at the pace of the lecturer, at the pace of the professor, not the students. Why? Because sometimes the professors are under pressure. They have only 1 hour or 2 hour or maximum 3 hours to deliver a lecture. So they have to cover an extensive syllabus in that given time or a specific topic in that given time. However, in online learning, the control is inside the students' hands. Some students will want the things to go more slowly than others because they can think about what is being said by the professor. However, other students will want to look up for terms if they are not sure about their meanings. So they need to give pauses to the lecture, and that is possible in online learning. You can pause the lecture, you can go to search for definitions, or you can think on the words and on the concepts that the professor is trying to deliver, or on the concepts that you are trying to learn. So many of us, including me, I prefer recorded lectures because recorded lectures can be passed while you are taking notes or while you are looking for some definitions on the internet, or you are looking for some concepts in the books. So that is possible with the recorded lecture. In now, think about the traditional way of delivering the lecture. If a student want to write something or take some notes during the lecture, and the professor is delivering the lecture at a high speed, so maybe the student will have missed other parts of the lecture, or maybe he is not able to take complete notes of what he or she is going to take. So these are some problems in the traditional lecture and some advantages of the online learning. Another advantage is chunking. This is actually a benefit, a big advantage of the recorded lecture from psychological point of view. Our when we try to learn something in chunks, it is better for our mind to observe the chunks. Suppose you need to remember a series of items, so it is easier to recall them if you can group several of them together, rather than trying to deal with them individually. In case of traditional lectures that are delivered once a week or twice a week, it don't make things easier for the student to combine the different pieces of information. For example, something that you have learned 1 week ago and something you are learning now this week. So it becomes difficult to connect the different pieces of information. And this is one reason students spend a lot of time while revising the concepts for the examinations or for the tests. So with online lectures, student can watch videos in a page, or you can give an order to the lectures in a way that you want to watch the video. So this allows the students to make connections that would not be possible in the traditional way of learning. Another good thing about the online learning, both for the professors and for the students, is that there is no chalk and chalk involved in online learning. Traditionally, the university lectures and the college lectures also, they are delivered in this mode that is called the chalk and chalk method. In this method, the teacher stands in front of the class, the teacher talks in front of the students and write things on the board using a chalk, or in modern days using a pointer. And maybe he is using slides, so he will point to the slides. Okay, so in modern way of online learning, there is no chalk and chalk, but there are other elements that can replace this traditional way of delivering lecture. For example, the video lecture can contain hyperlinks to extra material, or it can contain some audio material, maybe some postcard. It, the the lecturer can show some pictures, some illustration to enhance the understanding of students. Some interactive features you can use technology. You can use different applications, for example, Kahoot, or for example Mentimeter, to gamify or to make the lecture more interactive, gamification. You can even use virtual reality concept in online learning, or in the near future, artificial intelligence. Maybe robots are going to take the lectures. So these things are possible in online learning. And also we have multiple communication methods available. Before, I remember, like for example, in our time at university, if the teacher has something to communicate to us, the only way was to announce the things inside the classroom, or to send a message to the CR, the class representative, and he will share the information with the rest of the students. But in online learning, we can use several methods for communication. For example, the professor can send emails. He or she can send messages on the Moodle, on the Blackboard, on the Google Classroom, on the Teams, etc. Even there are WhatsApp group available for each discipline, and student can have their own WhatsApp for the disciplines. You can also use Facebook messages, Messenger to send messages to the students, web browser notification, application notifications, everything. So we have multiple communication methods available for people who are actually taking courses online. But beside from, as we know that every technology comes with the drawbacks also, so some of the disadvantages that we can overcome actually are mentioned here. In the online environment, the student actually feel in isolation, loneliness, because of the lack of the engagement of the students. Student may feel isolated without face-to-face interaction. And one of the most critical point in delivering effective online lecture is to promote, and this is actually the responsibility of the professor, to promote high level of student engagement. Okay, so we need to find ways by using which we can actually engage our student in online lecture, especially in the synchronous mode of delivering lectures. That is very important in online learning, because in the online learning, students do not have the possibility of meeting their colleagues casually. For example, on campus you can meet your colleagues, class fellows in a coffee shop while drinking a cup of coffee, but in virtual environment, in online learning, that is not possible. However, you can make it possible. You can meet your colleagues, for example, once a month if it is possible, if you are living in the same neighborhood, for example. So you can make it possible. Or you can meet one another virtually. That is not equal to physical meetup, but you can at least do that things. Virtual meetups is possible. Another thing is social aspects. Students learn from one another. Beside from learning from the books, beside from learning from their professors, they can learn easily from one another, from their peer. We call it peer learning. They can swap ideas, they can exchange information of all kinds with other students. So being alone at home will reduce your ability to benefit from the social aspect of the study. You might not wish to be isolated at the home while you are attending an online learning or an online course. So one of the solution is if you are living in a shared house with other students, or maybe in a hostel, or maybe in a shared apartment. So you could have an advantage of making these social aspects or addressing these social aspects of online learning. One of the most dangerous thing in online learning is the distractions. Suppose you are studying in a garden, or suppose you are studying on a beach. You are attending the lecture online and you are enjoying on beach. So maybe the beautiful butterflies or the beautiful garden will distract your attention, or maybe the people who are doing windsurfing, they will catch your attention. So in online studies, you can go off to do other things, more exciting things rather than attending the lecture or watching the lecture. Maybe you prefer to watch TikTok videos, or maybe you are going to watch some memes on Twitter, for example. So the distractions can arise from different ways. For example, even if you are attending a lecture and notifications are appearing on your screen and they are disturbing you, their sound and their appearance, when they pop up, they disturb your attention. They take your attention. So notification is another way that actually distract your attentions. So technology on one hand is helping the students. These notifications let you be informed of what is happening, but on the other hand, it leads to more distraction from the studies, reducing the attention and also the concentration. So distractions, you can control these distractions up to some extent, and later on in this lecture, I will tell you how you can actually deal with these distractions. Another disadvantage is reduced motivation, because motivation is an essential aspect of studying. In traditional setup, much of the motivation comes from your competitors, from your peers. And also, you have role models in your university. Some professors are your role models, or some senior students act your role models. At home, you are alone. Maybe you can become a good cooker at your home, but not a motivator. Okay, so there is a problem in online learning. Student will have their own goals for marks, but they always want to do better than their peer, and that is possible in on-campus education. Participation is lacking in most of the online learning, but nowadays there are tools available that can let the student engage in the online lectures. But normally in online learning, participation is difficult, especially in the asynchronous mode of online learning. This is very difficult to achieve. Students attend lecture in the online in the traditional way. They can attend lectures on the campus. They can take notes. They do follow up readings with their colleagues. Within the online setup, students are expected to direct themselves much more than taking directions from their peers, and there is often less opportunity for informal directions that normally happens in on-campus education. So as a result, participation in online courses is much more dependent upon the students. Students need to find ways, and there are plenty of ways available that we are going to cover. So actually, these are challenges that we are going to address in this presentation. And some technological barriers are also there. For example, you need internet connection, you need a laptop or at least a desktop computer to get the maximum out of this online learning. Okay, so these are some limitations. Now we are going to prepare ourselves for the effective learning. The first thing, start from your family. You need to negotiate with your family members, or if you are living in a hostel or in a shared apartment or a shared home, you have to define some rules and you have to negotiate those rules with with your friends. What I want to say is that you need to set some rules. Suppose you want to study and another member of the family want to do something else, so it may create noise or distraction. You have other siblings. At the same time, they are going to watch something on Netflix, or one of your brother or sister want to play game, or you receive some visitor at your home. So it is important to set some rules. Check your internet connectivity if you are going to attend an online class. And also, not only you have the internet broadband connection available at your home, but make sure that the internet connection is reliable. Okay, because you are using a shared internet connection, so maybe somebody is watching Netflix at the same time, or maybe somebody is playing a heavy online game or TV streaming, etc. So things are possible. So it means that even with a high speed broadband connection, you need to compete. So defining the rules will help you to have a reliable internet connection. And for online learning, you need a space, you need a room, a dedicated room. Ideally, you are going to studying at a distance. So a dedicated room in which you can concentrate on your studies. Often this will be your bedroom, but sometimes there is not enough space, so you may need to study maybe in the kitchen or maybe in the dining room if you have one. So whenever or wherever you are going to study, it is worthwhile taking some time to consider the best setup before you begin your online journey. Similarly, you need some good lighting in the room. You are going to be reading and watching a great deal of material online. So in normal university life, you go to library to read some books, but in online environment, you have to study lot of PDFs, lots of ebooks, and lots of videos and audios. So you need good lighting. When the students want to study online, you will be switching from computer screen to mobile phone and back to the computer screen, so lighting inside the room is important. Besides, you need a comfortable desk and chair. If you don't already have them, so you need to buy them, comfortable ones. Select a good chair, select a good desk for study, and also a laptop or at least a desktop computer is required. Or if you can support both of them, it will be helpful. You need to choose the right hardware. Sometimes you need to do some simulations, for example, or you are going to use some heavy load software on your computer or on your laptop, so it is problematic. You need to have a look on the hardware specification, and you have to decide between buying a laptop or a desktop, and the decision is yours, but you have to keep in mind some specification. For example, cost is a factor. If you have more money, you will have to buy a laptop. But if you need more specification, normally the desktop, they have more capacities as compared to the laptop. So besides from laptop computer, you need an extra mouse, an extra keyboard, and sometimes a printer is required, because if you are going to read a lot of PDFs on computer screen, it will create some health problems that we are going to discuss in a while. So maybe a printer is required for you at your home. And beside from the hardware, you need some softwares. Okay. For example, the first software that you need is the LMS. Maybe your university will provide you a software to access the course, to access the material, or to attend the online classes. And also, you need some extra softwares. For example, backup software. It is very important. Most of the students, they do not consider taking backup, and the students, they consider taking regular backup. They took the backup on normally on memory stick, on memory drive. But what if the memory drive that you are using for backup is lost or stolen? So find out other ways of taking regular backups of your file, of your important data. You can consider cloud like Google Drive or OneDrive, etc. Different cloud options are freely available. So you have to take regular backups of your assignments, of all the material that you are reading, or all the material that you have submitted, or the books, ebooks, etc. So it is important to have a backup. You can also use a synchronization software for backups. For example, Lucy is available for Linux that you can use for making the backup. So it is important to keep at least 2 copies of the files regularly, one on the cloud and the second one on an external hard drive by using a synchronization software. Beside it, you have required other software, for example, to-do list, calendars. Google Calendar is helpful for making schedules or tracking your work progress. Some meeting software like Zooms, like Microsoft Teams or Google Team is required. So that is about the preparation. Now, once you started online learning, the first thing you come across is reading, a lot of reading. It doesn't matter whether you are studying on campus or in your bedroom, you will be doing a lot of reading. Sometimes the reading is guided reading. Guided reading means that the lecturer will specify a chapter, or he will give you some handout to study. However, most of the time you will be doing self-directed reading, where you will be finding relevant material independently without any guide. So this comes with a price. On-screen reading is tiring, extra tiring. Reading from a screen is not the same as reading from a printed book or a printed material. When you are reading from a printed book or document, the light reaching to your eyes is scattered. There are several beams of light reflecting from the page in various directions, and your eyes are getting this reflected light, which is how you usually see different things. Remember when you were a kid, your mom used to tell you, do not look directly at the sun because that is not good for eyes. Now you are watching at the screen continuously much of the time. So that is extra tiring and also not good for eyes health. Beside the printed material, they have some good and well-defined standard and protocols for the printed material. While on the screen, you don't know if the text size or the text font is good for your eyes, or maybe the character spacing is good or not, whether they are putting more pressure on your eyes, so things like that. So you need to be careful about these things. One of the way is to take regular intervals while you are reading, and one of the thing is helpful that we are going to study right now. And also you need to pace your online reading, which means as online reading is tiring and challenging, so it can impact your eyes health. So take breaks, relax your eyes from time to time while you're reading from the screen. And another tip is that if you are reading a large document continuously, so it is better to take a printout and then read from the printout instead of reading from the screen. Also, you listen as you read. This is something psychological. For example, when you are reading a text, you can probably hear the words. I'm not talking about the audiobook version of the text. However, I'm talking about the brain that processes the text in the visual region of the head. So it also passes the text through something which is called phonological loop. It's a concept in psychology and mind sciences that's important. So you are actually listening to your words. Your mind is actually interpreting your words, and this is helpful when you have been reading for a while. You will probably feel tired, so because your brain is actually doing double work. You are reading and it is also hearing to the words. So you need to give some time to your eyes for relaxation, and take care of your eyes because continuous reading from the screen can cause some problems that we are going to address also in a moment. Another important aspect is taking notes. There was an article published about note taking in the Guardian newspaper, and the conclusion was that university is 95% note taking. And I am surprised. I can see students coming to the universities without a notebook. So how is that possible that you come to university without taking any note during the day? So there is something of my personal experience. So you need to take notes. Random notes are good. The way you want to take note is okay, but there are some good note taking methods and systems available. Okay, one of them is guided note taking. Guided note taking is where you add your own comments to the existing note provided by the professor inside the margins or below the text. That is good. For some people studying online, guided note taking is perfect. Okay, but that is not as useful as a systematic way of note taking. One of the systematic way of note taking is kernel notes. This method divides divided into three pieces of information. And this method of note taking was actually developed in the University of Cornell, New York in 1950 by a professor. And this professor actually publishes a book which is called How to Study in College. And that is a very famous book among researchers and professors because it has like 11th edition till now. So this method divided the sheet of paper into three areas. The first is the note-taking column, where you will be actually taking the notes during the lecture, for example, the online lecture. And in the column, you have to write the keywords or the keywords or the key questions about the notes that you have already taken. And then finally, in the summary section, you will write a summary of the whole notes that you have actually taken. So this is more appropriate approach of note taking during the online lectures. Beside from note taking, you will need to rely on mind maps and concept maps. There are two different ways of representing the knowledge. Mind map is actually a visual method of making notes. Traditionally, you start your mind map with a central idea written in the center of this visual representation in the middle, and then you start drawing lines for each idea with a few words. Okay, and these lines start and you grow them clockwise, writing new ideas or new concepts. And as you can see, we write only few words on them. So the mind map is meant to be a trigger to remind you of the stored memories in your mind. So this is a good way. Another way is the concept map. The concept map is similar to mind map. Indeed, most of the mind map tools that you are using for developing mind map, you can develop the concept map also with the same tool. The critical difference between these two is the concept is that the concept map is actually hierarchical. It's like a tree. It has different nodes and different branches. And another difference is that concept map is text only, while the mind map you can see is more graphically imaginary. So as a result, concept map is helpful to see the relationship between the different items and the different concepts or different topics that you have covered. Besides from mind and concept maps, you can use outlining method that is probably the most common form of taking notes while you are attending online lecture. You write a heading for a section of the lecture or the textbook, and then you write a number of bullet points or maybe different items you define to repeat for each topic that you are actually covering in the lecture. So for students that are actually using online classes, they use Microsoft Office for taking notes. But nowadays Microsoft has another component which is the OneNote that you can also use. I prefer to use Sublime Text Editor for taking notes during an online lecture. That is also simple and useful for me. For note taking, you have like digital technologies also available. One of them is LiveScribe, and this is very famous. Even you can use your own cell phone, but try not to scratch it for taking notes. Digital notes we call it, or digital annotation. You can make note digitally available, or even in some cases you can use audio notes. For example, if your professor provide you a postcard to listen, which is related to the lecture, then obviously you will need to listen to it and record your own audio notes, which will help you later on understand the concepts. The audio note problem is that if you are going to search for a specific concept, it will be difficult to search inside the audio note. But nowadays, tools or softwares are available that can convert the audio notes into text notes, and then you can search easily in the text notes. An important component for online learning is to participate, is to join different study forums or groups. I can say it with confidence. Visit any university campus that you want, anywhere in the world. You will not find any campus, any university where students are not talking about their courses or their professors or their lectures. Okay, even in the coffee shops, even in the classroom, in the library, or even in the student union bars, you will find small groups of students discussing something about their studies. Students go to the lectures and seminars, they read part of the textbooks, and then they talk to each other. This is about the importance of the forums or the student groups. Students always chat with one another about their studies. But now imagine you are studying at your home. You are taking an online course. You are studying from a distance. So you do not have the opportunity to go to the campus and chat with other students. Okay? So you have to rely on the virtual study forums that are available. And we can inside the online learning platforms, they give it different names. Sometimes you can see a tab with the name chat, sometimes chat room, discussion forum, discussion group, or maybe news groups, maybe chatting room, maybe a team, maybe wiki. Different forms are available in different platforms. And also there are different forums for in the online learning. There are different modules. Each module has a different forum for discussion. Each course has a welcome forum where the student go and introduce themselves at the beginning of the course. That is very informal. That has nothing to do with the learning, but it's a platform to introduce yourself to the rest of the students. And then you have like the in my courses I use a forum which is called the announcement forum. There is a one-way traffic. Whenever I have an announcement to make to the student, I put a post in the announcement forum, and there is like communication to the students. So different forums are available. You can also use social media for discussion groups. Many students set up informal groups on social media, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, etc. And there are also some pre-existing study groups that is available internationally on different networks. Okay, so you can join these social media discussion groups that are important for online learning. Beside from discussion groups and social media groups, we have different wikis available. And wikis are also important for collaboration. They are like different set of web pages. Mainly, most of the online modules that you cover in online learning will include a Wikipedia. Okay. Often a wiki has a discussion section where you can go and talk about a topic. And popular virtual learning softwares such as Blackboard, such as Moodle, they have their own wiki tools available to be embedded inside the courses that you are actually attending. Sometimes you need to subscribe to a forum, discussion forum, to get updated and get the latest news. So the discussion groups provided by the university and your fellow students, there will be like subject-based forum available across the internet on different platforms, and they are helpful. However, you have to be careful while you are using these public forums that are available on subscription, because the academic discussion forums created by your professor is trustable. The information posted there is trustable. But the information posted on the public forum, publicly available forum, is sometimes risky and sometimes not authentic. So you need to be careful about it. There is a reason we encourage students to participate in online learning activities, but but sometimes the student feels stupid to participate in it. So you need to get rid of this feeling of stupidness. Okay, this is one of the reasons why students do not take part in the online discussion groups or forum. They do not wish to appear stupid. They are thinking that our question is going to be stupid, or the concept that we are going to explain to other student is going to be stupid. So they are afraid of being stupid. So this is the responsibility of the professor also to encourage the student to participate in the forum. Now, beside from taking participation in the online forum, it is important to understand the concepts of videos. Most of the lectures will be delivered in online learning through videos. So you need to understand the importance of the video lectures. Beside from that, you will need to record your own videos for different purposes. Okay, for example, your professor give you a presentation. So you need to record a video. And when you are going to record a video, you need a good quality webcam, because everything that you record is going to be evaluated. So you need a good quality webcam for that purpose. Okay. And also you need to check your background. So for example, I blur my background for this video. You can use green background, or you can use some other, nowadays different tools like Zoom and Google Meet, they come up with built-in background that you can select. And also you have to be careful about the background noises. If you are recording a video inside your home, maybe there are noises from the children or from the family members, so you need to be careful about it, background sounds. And also, this is important, you need to read video etiquette. These are the rules that are defined by different universities or maybe by the professors of the course. You may have to, some behaviors are natural, you have to avoid them, some bad behaviors while you are recording a video for a presentation. And other things, most of the university will provide a code of conduct for recording a video that you have to follow. Some universities have already established some good behavior in online sessions, so you have to follow them. Okay. For example, if you are attending a video lecture and you have a question to ask from the professor in a synchronous way, so the best way is to raise a hand, which is available in most of the tools, rather than talking, or rather than talking without sending a message to the professor that you are going to ask a question. In face-to-face classroom, there is the same. The student normally raise their hands if they want to clarify or ask a question. In online video, it isn't easy for the lecturer to see puzzle look, so you have to be patient also. Online collaboration is important in online learning, because most of the time you will be working in groups. In my courses, I also make 2 or 3 students. I request students to make a group of 2 or 3 students, and then I give them some tasks to complete. Not only they can learn together better in a shared experience, but they can also collaborate by providing moral support to each other, because loneliness, remember, isolation in online learning is the drawback. So you have to tackle this problem by making group of the students. Once you are a member of a group, you need to collaborate to the group. Okay. So this is important, to collaborate to the group in which you are actually a team member. But sometimes this is difficult to collaborate. We let the things happen at the last moment. And there is a concept which is called procrastination. And this procrastination is actually an issue with most of us. You can see here, this is actually a nation, a full nation of people who are actually facing this issue. What is procrastination? In a simple philosophy, if you are working on something, it means that you are not working on many other things. Now, procrastination is a habit, is a bad habit. And if you do not control it, it is going to control you. What happened during procrastination? During procrastination, we actually do other things that are less important while we are doing something most important. For example, you are studying a research paper, and at the same time you remember that you need to make a cup of coffee, or you need to clean your desk, or you need to make a meal for yourself, other things. Okay, so actually this happens, and there is a solution for it. The solution is that you need to you need to divide your time in different slots. It's like making your schedule. And this technique is called time blocking. Procrastination is actually destructing your attention or your concentration. So you have to divide your time. You need to have time for checking your emails. You have to need your time for attending an online lecture. And you need to have time for doing other things, replying emails, or maybe checking your cell phone, replying to the WhatsApp messages and things like that. So this concept is called time blocking, which is important to deal with the procrastination in some way. Beside from handling with the procrastination, most of the time in online learning, you will need to give presentations in front of the class in an online environment. Students normally need to give all kind of presentation during their studies. It may be a group presentation about a project, it may be a topic given by the professor, it may be presenting a progress report, it may be presentation of the results. So we students goes a lot, student actually give a lots of presentation during their studies. They may vary, maybe a simple tutorial or maybe a technical presentation, it depends. However, presenting your ideas in a physical classroom is simple, but presenting your idea or your presentation or your topic in a virtual environment is something different. The first thing that you need to overcome is the fear of presenting online. Okay? You are not alone if you have the fear to present online or present in front of the students. One study showed that 73% of the people who are actually involved in online meeting, they actually suffer the same thing. And nowadays there is a terminology, a buzzword, which is called Zoom anxiety. So most of the people have this anxiety while they are going to present in front of the audience. And one of the way is the traditional way to handle the fear is to think, is to give the presentation, do some rehearsal in front of the family members or friends or colleagues that will overcome the fear that you are actually facing. And also, one of the things that you can do while you are giving a lecture online is to use movement and gestures. As you can see, from time to time, I'm using some gestures with my hands. So that give you a little bit energy to overcome this fear or anxiety that you actually have. So although you during when I'm giving a lecture in a classroom, in a physical classroom, I can move. I love to move during the class. I go close to the students because this way they feel more comfortable. When you come, they give you more attention. But in an online world, things are different. So you can move, but in a limited way. You can perform some gestures, but in a limited way. This is also helpful to control your fear, the movement and gestures. And anxiety, you can also overcome or reduce the anxiety while you are actually presenting in an online platform. There is a wide variety of advice related to this stuff, but the most common one is that there is an idea which is, I'm not sure if it is helpful or not. Whenever you are going to deliver a talk, you have to think that like you are giving the presentation in front of naked people. So I'm not sure if it is helpful or not because I never thought that way, but yes, there is a research on it that it is helpful. What I believe is that doing some exercise, some physical exercise before giving the presentation is very helpful. Second thing is doing some yoga or doing your prayers is also helpful before you give a presentation, even if it is an online or on campus. It actually helps us to come up over anxieties, and also practice in front of your colleagues or family member is also helpful, which will reduce your nervousness and also anxieties. Okay, sometime you have to record a presentation. Instead of giving an online presentation, you are required to record a presentation and then upload the presentation and send it to the professor. There is also, not all presentations are live, so often you are required to record a presentation. And this is particularly the case where the professor want to evaluate your presentation. Okay, or maybe he's sending your presentation to the external evaluator. If you are using, there are certain ways of recording your presentation. You can use the PowerPoint slides and make a recording of the slides. You can use screen recorder, you can use the PowerPoint slide recorder option that is available in the Microsoft PowerPoint, or you can use record my screen software, and other things are also available for this purpose. So uh, some of the time you need to record the presentations. You can also, like in this way, you can see me on the screen and also the slides at the side. So you can also make a presentation this way. Plenty of options are available. Okay, now let's bring our attention to an important topic. That is, understand how actually our brain work while we are learning a concept online, in an online environment. There are two different modes of thinking. They are the focused mode of thinking and the diffused mode of thinking. Some of us are familiar with it. When you are focusing or concentrating on something, when you are doing some deep learning activity, so you are trying to learn, understand, or you are in your focus mode of thinking. And the diffuse mode is more relaxed mode of thinking. It is like, for example, you are doing exercise, or you are doing a walking, or you are doing a running, or you are taking a bath, and some ideas come up in your mind, some thoughts come in your mind, or some solutions come in your mind. So you have to take advantage of both of the thinking mode. And I did this practice several times. I'm working on an article, writing the results, and things are not working in the focus mode. So I close everything, I go for a walk or for running, and some amazing ideas of writing the results pop up in my mind. There is the diffuse mode, because there is the more relaxed mode. And in this, when you are in the diffuse mode of thinking, some amazing things can happen. Some people famous in the history, and their ways of learning in a better way. For example, the first one is the Salvador Dali. He was a great Spanish artist or painter who was famous for his technical skills in painting. And he used an idea, a technique for focused learning. What he did, he put a tin plate on the floor and then sit by a chair beside it, holding a spoon over the plate. He would then totally relax his body. Sometimes he would begin to fall asleep. While this is normal, when you are doing some sort of activity, your mind become tired and you get asleep. So the moment that he began to sleep, the spoon would slip from his fingers and drop on top of the plate, and it will generate a sound which will make him wake up again. Okay. Similarly, the Thomas Edison's holds a bearing ball, a small bearing ball in his hand. When Thomas Edison would fall into a sleep, the ball will fall from his finger on the floor and with clatter generate the sounds which will make him wake up. In our case, I don't think if it will work, because we set the alarm on the cell phones and it is not possible even for the alarm to let us wake up. But in their cases it was possible. So you can avoid distraction by defining the time blocks also. And this technique is very helpful. This is very helpful. This is called the Pomodoro technique. And I try it during my PhD, and it is very helpful. How it is helpful? First, let me tell you what is Pomodoro for those who actually have no idea. It is an Italian word from tomato. And this technique is actually a time management technique or a time management system that was developed by a business consultant when he was a student. He used a kitchen timer in the shape of a tomato, as you can see here, to help him manage his time during his work. Okay, so what is the basic concept? The basic technique is that you divide your time into 25 minutes chunks. Nowadays, you don't need to use this physical device. You can use an application on your cell phone, and there are websites available. Or you can even set a time clock for it, like a timer you can use for 25 minutes. The basic idea is you dedicatedly study for 25 minutes, keeping away all the distractions, keeping away your cell phone, your email, even if as you are dealing with online learning. So you have to open a new browser, having all the other tabs, not open a new tab, but open a new browser. So all the distractions are besides, nobody is going to disturb you, and you are doing a study dedicatedly for 25 minutes. And after 25 minutes, you give yourself rewards for 5 minutes. During these 5 minutes, you can check your emails, you can check your messages, you can have a cup of coffee, tea, or you can take short breaks. So this way, while you are dividing your time into chunks, this is more productive. And also, you have to avoid other distractions. For example, I'm going faster because we have less time. So you have to switch off all the notifications on your cell phone. In this digital world, these digital devices are full of distractions. We have a notification every 5 minutes, for example, and you have to go and check the notification. These notifications are automatic. You can switch them off also. The way what is shown to us is that these notifications let us know about something is happening. I receive a message, so I need to know, and the notification is there to tell me. But on the back side, there is something else. I will not go into the details. So the fear of missing out is the purpose of notifications. So you can switch off all these notifications, which is helpful. Sometimes some researchers believe, and research shows, that listening to background music is important. And on YouTube, there is a lot of music. Okay, a lot of music is available for it that will let you focus on your studies in an online environment. So background music for some of us is also helpful. And interruption at home, because you are attending a lecture at your home. This lecture that I'm delivering now, most of the students will be attending from home. So there are interruptions at the home. How you can handle these interruptions? In my office, I make some plates on paper. You can use paper and write something like, for example, do not disturb. I am in online class. Will be back in 25 minutes, available in an hour. Happy to chat for 5 minutes if you are using the Pomodoro technique. So you can use like different takes and let it be on the door of the room so that people have an idea what you are actually doing. You can also use different apps to avoid distraction. For example, there are websites available, let's suppose Rescue Time, which will keep an eye on your online activities and then will let you know how much time you are actually spending on which activity. So these tools are also helpful. And online well-being is important. You have to, health is the first priority. There are two different domains for us: face to face learning and online learning. The first is on the campus, where you walk a lot. I prefer to go to my campus by foot, which is like 15-minute distance. So we took a large number of steps while we are going to attend the classes on the campus. Things are different when you have an online class because you sit in front of computer, hardly taking 10 or 20 steps to change your location, your position. Okay. So online students have to 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 keep this factor in their minds while they are attending online classes. Studying online make you somewhat static and the cancer of this era is that we spend a lot of our time in front of these gadgets, these devices. So the second issue with online study is the use of computer itself. Those who are actually studying online do everything through their computer screen. So you can find yourself sitting for hours and hours in front of laptops. This can affect your eyesight, this can affect your muscles, your body, and also some research shows that it can lead to diabetics. Okay, so this is important to resolve. What you need to do is to give pauses. If you, it is better to to have more frequent intervals than having a large interval. Okay, setting several hours and then taking an hour break is not good. Setting for 30 minutes and taking 5-minute break is okay. So better to have 5 to 10 minutes break every hour, or better to have 5 minutes break like every 30 minutes. So it will improve your ability. Not only it will not only be beneficial for your good health, but will also improve your ability to concentrate. It will help your memory, it will enable you to focus more, and it will make you more creative and more productive. So it will increase your productivity also, and will have a positive effect on your body chemistry. Even you can do a lot of exercises while you are sitting in front of your computer, so that is also recommended. And also you have to check your posture. If you are in university, the chairs are good, the desks are good, but if you are in at home in online learning, so you have to check these things, your postures, the position of the laptop, the screen, the position of the screen. So studying online means you can remain like sitting in front of your computer for more extended time periods. So postures is important. And the take care of your eyes, because if you are facing some problems, for example, you have dry eyes, or you have red irritated eyes, or you have like you feel eye discomfort, or you have a blurred vision, or you have headache in front of computer, so this is an alarming situation for you to see an eye consultant. And you need quality sleep hours, at least 8 hours per night. Why? Because one of the problem with computer screen is they transmit blue light rays, and the reason is that your brain isn't quite sure when you should be sleeping. Okay, there is a psychological effect, but I will not go into the details of it because of the time. And another factor is indoor plants will help you a lot. Studying online, particularly with a computer in your bedroom, means that the air quality of the room can decrease because of these devices. To help overcome this problem, it is a good idea to have some indoor plants in your home as well as in your bedroom. So sleeping is important. This is actually we sleep. We sleep at work, we sleep while we are watching a movie, and we sleep even while we are driving. But when we come to the actual sleep, if you are using a lot of time in front of computer, so it becomes difficult for you to sleep easily. So you have to keep this factor in mind. And also to end this presentation, a few more slides. You have to put little effort every day, and at the end of the day you will have the fruits. For effective learning, even if it is online or on campus, you need to do a little work every day, and this will gradually allow you to grow. Success does not mean being smart. Many smart people are unsuccessful. Okay? So passionate and persistence of really staying working on daily basis is success. Okay? And learning is by doing. Whatever you hear, you will forget. Whatever you see, you will remember for some time. Whatever you do, you will understand. So if you want to learn, you have to do. And in online learning, the professor gave us a lot of activities. So you need to do those activities, because learning is by doing. Understanding is by doing, or by doing things practically. People learn to do well only when they practically do it. So the only way to understand things in a better way is to do it by yourself. And practice will make you perfect. Deliberate practice. Instead of mastering the easy stuff, you have to balance your study by deliberately focusing on what you find more difficult. What I want to say is that you have to focus on the most difficult material. Okay, maybe some of you will not agree with me because some people think that concentrate on the easy stuff at the beginning is good. But for example, you get up early in the morning, so your mind is fresh. So it's good to do the hard thing first. And planning is important. Planning is important. You need to plan your everyday activities. You need to plan every course that you are actually attending online. You have to define policies for yourself, and you have to follow those policies. For effective learning and study, we need to write a plan and follow that plan, actually implement that plan. There is, and even some software tools are available for project management. And finally, you need to ask questions during online presentation if it is synchronous. So you have to ask question. If you are listening to a boring lecture, then ask question because the discussion is more interesting than the lecture. Okay, so you have to ask questions. And form a network. I'm not talking about the network of friends, but the network of a professional network where you can discuss ideas and thoughts with other colleagues. And finally, enjoy the process, not the final product. This is a journey, and you have to enjoy the journey. Okay, so sometimes the journey is more important than the final product. And there is a movie, you can watch it. I will later tell you the name of the movie, which is about the process, enjoying the process, not the final result. Thank you very much for your attention. And now I'm open and available for the questions. Please check your microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you, Professor Kifayat, for your clear and exciting presentation. Now let's move on to the question and answer from the audience. And if you don't mind, I will ask two questions, one in English and one in Portuguese to motivate our audience. Okay.
Okay.
The first one, in your presentation, you showed to us several drawbacks, disadvantages about online learning, right? In your opinion, which drawback, which disadvantage has the greatest impact on quality of study?
Okay. Well, in my point of view, the biggest disadvantage of online learning is the distractions. It could be distraction from the gadgets, from the technology itself, or it can be distraction from the family because most of the time we attend the lectures from our home. In my culture, for example, your mom will call you, go to the market and buy this thing, this stuff for me. So you are in the middle of the lecture and you have to go to buy the stuff. So the distractions are very dangerous in online education. And there are multiple ways, like some of them I mentioned that, like even the notification that arrives on your cell phone, they are destructive. And even the one of the distraction, the procrastination itself is a kind of destruction because you're focusing on something and something else arrive in your mind. Now you have to leave this thing which is more important and you are going to do other things that are less important. Okay, so actually we are giving good energy to ourselves. Procrastination is like this, like if you finish that thing you will enjoy your study, but that is false. if you finish your studies, you will enjoy that thing. That is a true story. So in my opinion, the biggest thing is the distractions from from different factors.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the second question in Portuguese, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Professor, ok, né, você falou bastante aí sobre, né, o aprendizado online, né, essa forma de estudar, de construir, né, um plano de estudos, né, são dicas valiosíssimas aí para os nossos alunos, né, mas a minha pergunta, na verdade, é o seguinte: a falta de uma rotina física, por exemplo, o aluno vir para o campus, ele vê outros alunos, né? Essa falta dessa rotina física dele, que muitas das vezes essa metodologia online ela tira isso, né, do aluno. Então, ela por um lado, ela traz uma flexibilidade para ele conduzir, né, o estudo dele da melhor forma que se encaixa nas atividades, mas o principal ponto da minha pergunta é esse: qual a opinião do senhor com relação a essa falta de uma rotina física, dele ter o compromisso de levantar, de vir para o campus, né, de assistir uma aula presencial num determinado horário, né, garantir uma interação com outros alunos? Até que ponto isso é importante e como que o aprendizado online ele vê, né, uma forma de compensar toda essa rotina física do aluno?
Então, esse é um problema grande, porque nas aulas online, um aluno fica em uma cidade e outro fica em outra cidade. Ou talvez em um país e outro fica em outro país. Mas nós temos um jeito virtual que nunca vai ser o mesmo que a gente está com rotina física, né? Mas relacionado com aprender as coisas e engagement, student engagement, é importante ter um conceito que se chama gamification em inglês. Os alunos ficam isolados no mundo virtual. Então, eles não ficam muito engagement de aula, né? O que nós podemos fazer é trazer algumas ferramentas que deixam o aluno mais interessado em aprender as coisas no mundo online. Por exemplo, eu sei de um ferramenta que se chama Kahoot. Kahoot é um ferramenta que ele deixa os alunos participar em atividades de um jeito que ele gosta. E você tem 5 perguntas para alunos de aula online. Você faz a primeira pergunta e quem responde mais rápido, ele ganha mais ponto. E quem responde certo, ele ganha ponto também. E no fim da prova, ele vai falar sobre quem ficou no terceiro lugar, quem ficou no segundo lugar e quem ficou no primeiro lugar. E ele vai dar tipo parabéns para quem ganhou e assim os alunos ficam mais interessados. Ele aprende como usando uma ferramenta que chama Kahoot, que é um tipo de gamification. E outra ferramenta é Mentimeter. Mentimeter, em inglês é Mentimeter, que também ajuda muito a aprender os alunos, porque os alunos não é físico, então eles não estão muito interessados em engagement, em participar. E para deixar ele participar do melhor jeito, a gente tem o conceito de gamification, que está ficando muito famoso no mundo online. É isso.
Obrigado pela resposta, professor. Nós temos uma pergunta aqui também do Dudu Santos, né? É uma pergunta tão um pouco generalista, vou tentar reproduzi-la aqui para o senhor, professor. E se caso tiver um conteúdo que realmente o aluno não gosta, não quer estudar, mas ele tem que estudar? Como que esse aprendizado online aí pode contribuir para isso, com ferramentas, com técnicas, com métodos?
Tá, ok. Essa é uma pergunta muito famosa e minha resposta é muito simples. Eu vou falar em inglês. The things that you need to do, you have to do. There is no way. As coisas que você precisa fazer, você tem que fazer. Não tem outro jeito.
The right answer. There's no way. Okay, Professor. Okay, thank you for your questions from the audience, and we hope the session was helpful and inspiring you. Thank you so much. As I said, thank you so much, Kifayat, for your time and your exciting presentation. Thank you so much for all.
Thank you so much for inviting me for this event. It was my pleasure to give this presentation for the audience. Thank you so much. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.